Hey guys, good morning, and I'm glad that you are here for Live with Lucas. I hope you've got a coffee or something that you can keep you occupied for the next few minutes as we have a conversation. If you're out there, if you are a real human being and you're not just a Russian bot, make sure to say hello. I'd love to hear from you. This is so much better. I say it every time. This is so much better when you engage and ask questions and call me names and all sorts of stuff like that. This always goes better. And sorry, just wanted to apologize that I wasn't here last week. We were in the middle of putting on a soul care conference that went all weekend. Hey, Manny, it's good to hear from you. And we were in the middle of a conference. Oh, Steph is here calling out mom. That's good. No bots here. Hey, Chad, glad you're here. And but yeah, so we had the soul care conference, and so we were just busy all weekend. I didn't have time to go live on Thursday, but it was so good. You'll hear more about it in the future, and we're gonna continue doing stuff like that. Wendy, hey, welcome from Spruce Grove. But yeah, if you're here, make sure to say hello. It's always good to hear from you. If you've got questions, comments, just let me know. It's so much better to engage. So let me start off with kind of a funny story, something that happened to me, 5 or 6 years ago. It was, I'm going all the way back to the fire that happened here, and that's a difficult story for many. But there's this moment of kind of humor that happened to me in the middle of all of that. It was day 2, and me and my crew had been working, for 48 hours. It was, we were exhausted and we were tired. And I think the only thing I had eaten at that point was like granola bars and candy. Thank you, Minnie. I appreciate that you like the stories. I'm running out of them, running out of stories at some point in my life, so I got to keep making new ones. But I I think the only thing I ate was granola bars and candy and Pringles chips. And I was smelly. We were all stinky and exhausted. We hadn't had much sleep, and nobody was able to stay clean or anything like that. And so, in the middle of the night, on the second night, I snuck away. Things had calmed down, and I snuck away to my house in Dickensfield. And I was going to go get my first change of clothes in over 48 hours. I was disgusting, you guys. And I got into the house, and it looked in the house like crazy, right? Like Adrian and the boys had evacuated, and you could tell that it was a rush and that they had, taken what they can and went as fast as they could. And and I go to the drawers where I keep all of my clothes, to get a change of clothes and a change of underwear. And Adrian, expecting that I would meet them, and in evacuation, had packed up all of my clothes, every last shirt, every last pair of underwear, all of my socks. And she had taken them with her, and they were all with her in Turner Valley with my parents. And there was none of my clothes left in the house. And she had just expected that I would join her down there right away, and that's not how it worked out. I had nothing to wear, and so I was the stinky guy on our crew for the next couple of days, which is a little bit embarrassing. But it's funny when it comes to clothes. When it comes to things like shelter, when it comes to things like food, these are things we just take for granted, right? We expect them to be available. We know, we live in a place where those things are made available to people, and it's just a part of life. We don't worry about not having a change of clothes. We don't worry about not having enough food. We don't worry about not having shelter. Oh, Stephanie, that's terrible. I did not wear my wife's underwear. Okay, I just was stinky for a few days. You're terrible. But we don't worry about not having clothes. And this is not something that is universal, though. This is not something that this outside of Canada. Things like food, things like shelter, things like clothes are not taken for granted. They're not always easily accessible for many people. A few weeks ago, my friend Manuel, some of you might know him. He's a larger than life character here at Fort City, and he reached out. Manuel is from Venezuela, and he reached out because his heart was hurting for his home country and his hometown, a place where political corruption and recent flooding in recent years has caused just a huge uh, lack of things like clothing and shelter and food. Manuel let me know that minimum wage in Venezuela right now is only $5 an hour. But a pound of cheese is like $10, and so like $5 a month, not $5 an hour. I'm sorry, $5 a month. So you have to work a full-time job for a whole month just to earn $5. But a pound of cheese is $10. A loaf of bread, is expensive. Like they're not making enough money to be able to afford the things that they need. And Manuel is saying, when it comes to food or clothing, the people where he comes from are choosing food over clothing, right? They're have to go without one, and food is keeping them alive. And uh, he also pointed out for us that the Venezuelan currency, that a few years back it was pretty on par with American currency, right? But today, if you want to buy a single American dollar with Venezuelan currency, it takes $500,000 Venezuelan dollars to equal one American dollar. And so they can't even import stuff. They can't even afford to import stuff in their country to help out with the flooding and all that sort of stuff. And so Manuel reached out, and he said, his heart is hurting for his hometown and his home country, where there is this disparity of goods and disparity of wealth. And he said he had an idea, and he was going to collect clothes here in Fort McMurray and box them up and ship them to Venezuela. Something that they need, but that they often overlook to spend their money on things, more necessities like food and healthcare. And so Manuel had this great idea, and he started, and he was able to just on his own, with his contacts, gather up 20 boxes that they've already shipped to their contacts on the ground, some churches in Venezuela that are on the ground and on the front lines of helping their communities. And Manuel asked, like, Lucas, is there anything the church can do? Is there anything that you guys can do to help? And I just loved it. I said, absolutely, Manuel, we would love to partner with you in this. He's been this great example of, you don't have to, the church doesn't do all the good things. We are the church out in our communities, and what we do is an expression of the church that we're part of. And so that, his sending help to Venezuela, we want to partner with his idea and help enable him to do to enable his idea. And so I said yes. And so this Saturday from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. we're going to be at the church, me and Manuel, and anybody who wants to volunteer with us. We're going to be here at the church for 2 hours, and we want to invite you to drop off any gently used laundered clothing items that you want to bless the people of Venezuela with, that you want to give make a difference in somebody's life. And it's a small thing. There's millions of people in Venezuela. The problems are incredibly huge. We're not going to be able to solve those, but for a few families, for a few individuals, we're going to be able to bless them with something that they otherwise wouldn't, that they'd be going without. And so Saturday, 10 a.m. to 12, drop off your clothes here at the church. We're going to pack them up. We're going to ship them out. We're going to bless people on the ground. And because of Manuel, because he said he wanted to do something and wants to make a difference in people's lives, and we want to support him in that. And it reminded me of this parable that Jesus told, a parable about a king, a parable about a rich king talking to his followers and to his servants and to his people. And this king is thanking them, right? He's saying, thank you for feeding me when I was hungry. Thank you for clothing me when I was naked. Thank you for taking care of me when I was sick. And all these people listening to this king say these things they're kind of looking back and forth confused. They're like, we never gave you clothes, and you were never hungry. We never fed you. And, you were never naked. We didn't give you clothes. And they're confused. What the king is saying is confusing them. And so they tell in the story that Jesus is telling them, they say this, then these people answered him, Lord, when did we see you hungry and feed you? They're like, we didn't do that. Or thirsty and give you something to drink. When did we see you a stranger and invite you in? Or needing clothes and clothe you? When did we see you sick or in prison or go to visit you? We didn't do those things. We never did that to you. And then the king replied, and this is Matthew 25. The king replied, Truly I tell you, whatever you did for one of the least of these brothers and sisters of mine, you did for me. See, this is a kingdom principle. This is a Jesus idea that is so powerful that when you love your neighbor, even your neighbor who's thousands of miles away in a place like Venezuela, you're actually loving God. You're actually worshiping God. You're actually doing those kind deeds towards your creator. See, it's not just loving God is not just about coming to church and worshiping with us on Sundays and throwing all of our attention towards him. No, that's part of it. But maybe the biggest part of it is when we love each other, when we love our neighbors, when we treat each other with dignity, when we take care of those in need. Jesus is telling us that we're actually taking care of him, that we're actually loving him. This is a big idea that neighbor love is equal to God love. And so I am so blessed. Our church is so blessed that Manuel has given us an opportunity to love our neighbors well, to love the least of these, our brothers and sisters in a place far away in Venezuela. But we are able to bless them. And so I'm thankful for Manuel and this idea and his motivation to do it no matter what happens. And I'm grateful that we're able to partner with him and help, our neighbors who are so far away. You guys, I'm just going to remind you, 10 o'clock to 2 o'clock this Saturday, drop off your gently used laundered clothing to the church. Hang out. We're gonna pack some boxes, get those shipped out to people on the ground, to churches on the ground in Venezuela, and hopefully just be able to bless a few people, a few families, just with a gift that they're not expecting and something that they would go without otherwise. Let me just take a moment. I want to pray for us. I want to pray for my friend Manuel and just the passion that he's showed here and his idea and willingness to take this ball and run with it, and for the people in Venezuela. So let's take a moment to pray. So Jesus, I thank you that you have given us this opportunity, an opportunity to bless our neighbors, even if our neighbors are thousands of miles away. That this idea that Manuel has is an opportunity for us to love the least of these, to help those who go without, to bless people on the ground in a place like Venezuela where the suffering is so high right now. And so, Jesus, I just pray that Saturday, that this place would be full of love, that it would be full of clothes, that we pack as many boxes as we possibly could, and that we are able to ship those out and bless people on the ground. And even though it's just a drop in the ocean of need, Jesus, that shouldn't prevent us from doing what we can in these moments. So, Jesus, we love you, and we thank you that we have this opportunity to love our neighbors, and just pray a blessing over Manuel and his family, and for bringing this opportunity to us. So I pray this all in your holy names. Amen. Okay, so Mom, you asked if we can give cash. We can't give cash at this time. We'll look into it and see if that's an option. Right now, we're just looking to fill a sea can with clothes that we can send over and ship over. And so, yeah, that's no cash at this point. But I know, me personally, our house, we have big Tupperware bins full of clothes that we are hoping one day we might fit again. I guess I shouldn't say me. But it's time to stop storing those. I'm going to bring them out of storage, and I'm going to make sure that they're getting used, because they're not getting used right now. And I hope you join me on Saturday. And who's paying shipping? Hey, Selby, that's a good question. Right now, Manuel's company is paying shipping, so shipping costs are covered as of now. So that's incredible, because the shipping costs are high, and so it's just a incredible gift that they're paying for the shipping. Good question, Nicole. Adult and kids clothing right now, we're taking it all. The one kind of clothing item that we're not accepting is shoes, just because the shoes are so much heavier than all the rest of it. So we'll just be sending clothing. But adult, teen, children, even infant-sized clothes, we'll be packing all of that up and sending that. So unless there's any other questions, you guys, that is it from me today. I hope to see you on Saturday for a quick, brief moment as you drop off some clothes And again, just thank you, Manuel, for providing our church with an opportunity to assist you in this incredible idea. Okay, guys.